41. Hi, if you are watching this, you missed the first session for college essays. And I was a little disappointed because 4 people showed up. And I offered it just as a free class. So if you don't take advantage of it, that's going to be on you. That's all I'm going to say about that. So we are going to start with, first and foremost, I know this is a really stressful time. There is some certain things I can kind of help you with to get started on, but I'm going to warn you, the first session that you missed is a lot like a therapy session because most high school students, the reason they're panicking is because they have to basically write a narrative essay about who they are. And how do you write an essay about who you are if you don't know yourself? So it takes a little introspection to write a really good narrative essay. And you have to be mature enough to handle that and do it in a way that you're not repeating what your resume is. They know your SAT or ACT score. They know how many AP courses you've taken. Everyone's doing it. How are you special? Well, your essay is pretty much the deciding factor. They want to know, number one, can you write? Do you have a talent to write? And number two, do you know how to market and sell yourself, your authenticity, your character? And that's your job. And the reason you're nervous is that's a pretty big job. So I'm going to share the screen and kind of start off with kind of a PowerPoint presentation I created. First and foremost, it is like launching a rocket. It's big. So I've included the applied Texas prompts. And topic A and B are pretty much, you got to do them because they're very much like Common App. So tell us your story. What unique opportunities or challenges have you experienced throughout your high school career that have shaped who you are today? Most students have an identity, interest, or talent that defines them in an essential way. Tell us about yourself. Okay. You have to do A and B. I'm just going to tell you, do it, right? Next one, sorry, whoa, I just went. These are University of Texas at Austin essay and short answers. This is kind of what they have on their website. Common App, you'll see very simple. Number one is the same as number two on Applied Texas. I love question 2. The lessons we take from obstacles we encounter can be fundamental. Write about a challenge or setback or failure. You know what they want? They want to know how you're going to handle adversity on their campus because they want to know that you're not going to flunk out or quit. Yeah, big question. So crafting essays, current statistics claim universities now based 50% of admissions on essays. I actually think that's higher, but that's the number I got. Even though several top colleges still require SAT and ACT scores, and by the way, if you've been in my advanced class, you know that's changed. It's flipped again, and that was as of March 2024, when MIT reinstated the SAT. I think other schools will follow. Yes, a high score helps. Yes, AP courses help. The problem today is everyone's doing it. Okay, so why are college essays so difficult? First off, there's so much at stake, which is why you're freaking out. Second of all, students struggle with self-promotion, how to choose the right topic they want to share. If you've been a student of mine, you know that topic choices make or break. You can be the best writer in the world, and if you choose the wrong topic, you're dead in the water. So we're going to get you to your topic, and the odds are pretty good you're not going to get there today. Okay? So really allow that brainstorm to kind of happen after you watch this video and after you look at some of the information I've given you. It's intimidating knowing there is serious competition out there. Of course it is. Finally, strong personal narrative essays require maturity, self-realization, and introspection. Again, it's going to feel like therapy today. What are the most important components? This is a personal statement about who you are and what matters most to you. Topics should relate to your personal experiences. And here's the thing, and I'm going to stop share just for a second. You know, no one has the same fingerprint. No one has the same DNA. So the odds are pretty good that you have a story unlike anyone else's, that is uniquely yours. Your job, however, is to spin it and be clever and show your character in a way that's engaging. So I'm going to share my screen again. Okay. You want your story to stand out. You want your personality and skill to come alive without you saying it. Like, I am a great leader. I was the captain of my track team. Yeah, that's on your resume. You don't need to be saying that. Allow a student to communicate what they value most. Okay, I'm gonna scroll here. Okay. Okay, so topic choices. What topic of voices should be avoided? The 5 Ds: death, divorce, disease, including depression, drugs, and dating. Okay. Avoid the cliche, make it original, make it personal. Don't make it about someone else. Avoid using the word passion. My passion, overused. What are you passionate about? So college essay expert Justin Taylor uses the acronym WOW. Want, colleges want to know what motivates a student. A student's core want will be the driving force behind their essay. Think about, what do you desire more than anything? What are you most enthusiastic about, and what drives you to keep moving forward? Originality, be authentic, be true to who you are. Do not try to force an essay or try to impress, because this will only sound false. So you're actually going for authenticity. You want to sound, I want to say, humble, real, wisdom. Sorry, the think about here is, what genuinely interests you compared to your peers? What personal experiences have you had that might set you apart? And then finally, wisdom. This should be an aha moment. So basically, your wisdom is your defining moment in your life. This is where you're going to showcase or shine, taking a lesson you've learned and applying it to your life and your future. What life lessons have you learned from a situation you faced or your interactions with peers? What information have you gained from a bad experience? Okay, so I'm going to give you an example of a high school story. And yes, everybody, this was a defining moment in my high school years. And I talked about this. And sometimes, if I did this religious class. And I also encourage you to do Clifton Strengths. You can go to Clifton Strengths and look at what your strengths and your weaknesses are. I really think you need to be introspective here. And I'm going to give you a character quality sheet next class. And I really want you to look at, okay, what are my character strengths? What are my top 3? And you probably already know them, but you also need to know what your weaknesses are, right? Because you can flip a weakness into a strength, right? But a defining moment really happens usually when we struggle. This lesson I had was, it was kind of a line. And on that line, it was your highs and your lows. So you put your highs and your lows based on your age. So let's say it's 0 to 18. And on your 0 to 18, line, you would put your highs. How high were they? On a scale of 1 to 10, how high were they? And your lows on a scale of 1 to 10, how low they were. And you'd write, what were my highs at certain ages? What were my lows? And if you do this exercise, which I encourage you to do, what you're going to notice is you learned a lot from the lows. So we learn a lot about who we are through adversity. And that's really important. It's so important. It's the 3rd question in Common App, because they want to know that a student will thrive on their challenging college campus, that you will face adversity, you will have setbacks, and you will be able to rise above it. And it's probably going to be the most challenging period of your life. I had a student who is just finishing up her first year at Cornell. And she said, all the advice, she was my employee as well, all the advice you told me, everything you said, you were spot on. And here's what I told her. Number one, college is not about academics. I mean, it is, but you learn more of the other life skills, navigating the world on your own, gaining confidence. Number one conflict will be roommates and peers. Yeah. You're going to have to be able to navigate that and competition, but in a healthy way. Okay. So I'm going to share just a personal story. When I was 17, in high school. So this is a high school story because that's what they're asking you for. I want you to think about, as I tell this story, what does it say about me? Even though I'm not really telling you my character qualities, what does it say about me? So like all teenage girls, I grew up with a group of friends from 5th grade through high school. And something happens. And I'm really surprised that we stayed together even through high school. Because usually friendships dissipate by the time you start high school. But we were, we played volleyball together, we were in classes together. And as friends happen, my best friend in the whole world chose a different friend group. And really was a painful experience because the rest of the volleyball team kind of sided with them and not with me. And I never felt so isolated, never felt so lonely. And what she accused me of, she wasn't wrong. We drifted apart. We had different passions. We had different, there's that word passion you're not supposed to use. We just had different, we just grew in different directions. So that junior year, I was just really struggling mentally, just navigating that situation and having to see them every day and having to go to practice every day. So I ended up joining the track team and found running. I don't know what would have happened to me without running, but it became my escape. It was I felt fantastic. I could cope better. I could just run out all my frustrations. So that summer before my senior year, and I remember always being out of shape when I went to volleyball camp. And this is before clubs, so y'all probably don't know what I'm talking about. But that summer, I was running sprints. I was running 30 minutes out, 30 minutes back. Yeah, that's an hour a day. Because I was a sprinter. I ran the 400, which is the open 1 lap sprint, and the quarter-mile relay. And my coach said, you need endurance. You need to build up endurance. And I was in the gym lifting weights. And so I start that senior year, just not wanting to go to volleyball camp, not wanting to see those people. And I had the most incredible volleyball camp, running circles around everyone in the best shape of my life. And my coaches just jaw dropping, like, what did you do? And I was like, I worked out all summer. And they're like, we can tell. And I was so strong. And I earned the respect of my peers. I earned the respect of my coaches. And I gained confidence. And it was completely in my power to do so. I took something that was pretty awful with a friend group, and I turned it into something really that changed me for life. So that senior year was not made captain of the volleyball team. That group of friends was not going to make me captain. And then I ran track again that year, and my track coach said, well, I'm going to make you captain. And I was like, wait, whoa, no. I said, I've only been doing this, only my 2nd year. Other people, no. I don't think that's a good idea. And she said, nobody works harder than you. You're the first one out. You're the last one to leave. Everyone respects you. You've earned it. And what a just kind of an epiphany, just this, wow. Yeah. So I've never forgotten that. I've never forgotten what hard work means, and what it did for me. not just with my peer group, but what it did for me in my work ethic, what it did for me, and I apply it today. So what does that say about me? What does that story say about me? Well, I took a challenging situation and I could have, gotten into drugs, gotten into boys. I could have done a plethora of things, but I chose a really healthy outlet. Um, I think it shows a lot about tenacity. It shows a lot about, just being persistent with something, although that is tenacity. So you get the idea. You tell a story, right? And that story that you tell based on an experience, it's very illuminating to a college essay admissions person or group. So you want your story to stand out. Okay, well, how do you do that? Okay, so I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Common App essay prompts. So notice number one, some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful, they believe their application would be incomplete without it. If this sounds like you, then please share your story. So I want to share with you another story. And by the way, you'll notice right here between 450 to 650 words. Yeah, they want you about 550. So what I advise is, don't put yourself in a number when you first write your first draft. Especially this could be cathartic. This could be your first go round. It could be maybe something came out of your self-identification and you didn't know where it came from. And I love that about writing. Sometimes we don't know where it came from or what it uncovers and it comes out. I'm really good at cutting, really good at cutting. Just staying to the heart of the matter and cutting the extra out. So I want to share with you a story. I have a little headache, so I have to drink a little Coke just to see if I can get rid of my headache. I also do medical school essays, and not just medical school essays, but getting into, the school that you want to at the end of medical school. Because when you match, you have to write another essay. So here we go, writing essays and essays and essays. Okay, so this is one of my employees had a sister who went to Coppell High School, and Asian. And the sister that worked for me, love their family, by the way. I had them and their cousins. I had 5 of them in my program at one time. Yeah, no, wait a minute. 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. Yeah, I had 7 family members in this family. So, and 3 of them worked for me. That should tell you how much I love this family. Anyway, she would tell me about her sister, and I'd never really met her other sister who was older than her. And she goes, she doesn't work hard. She plays around. She plays golf. She got a golf scholarship. She just makes me so mad. She parties. She doesn't work hard like me. And I just remember hearing stories about her, and my parents are really worried about her, and I'm really worried about her. Anyway, her sister got a full ride to TCU on a golf scholarship. So I don't know if you know anything about athletic scholarships. You don't have to take the SAT or the ACT, and you don't have to write an essay. Her junior year, she was locked into a college scholarship, full ride, 4-year ride, all paid, full ride. So she didn't have to worry, which is wonderful. So never really had to work hard. But because she kind of played around in high school, when she started college, she took it seriously. So at the end of 4 years, she tells her family, I want to go to medical school. I think I want to be a doctor. And they're like, you're crazy. Like, this is my sister that messed around. And not perfect, by the way, was clinically diagnosed with ADHD, like was on Adderall. Did not stop her. So I said, well, I'll meet with you. Let's just talk it out. And as she's talking to me and telling me her story, I said, you will get in. You have a story unlike anyone else. So here's her story. She went to TCU on a golf scholarship, went for 4 years, just became a leader, was named captain of the golf team, had a really high GPA. I want to say 3.85, 3.9. And you're probably going, oh, well, that's not that great. Oh, yeah. How many people do you know are playing golf, playing collegiate athletics who have a 3.8 or 3.9? Most people can do it and not commit to college athletics, which, by the way, is a full-time job. So I looked at her and I go, you have a full-time job with college athletics, you have a full-time job with pre-med, all and you're captain of your team, you have a diagnosable learning difference, and you still want to do this. Wow. This is gold. So long story short, she had so many stories. The Navy SEALs came in and trained them. She had an accident, which, was really part of her interest in medical because of all the injuries that she'd had. And her mom, during all this, during her college, had a kidney transplant. And her sister donated her kidney to her mom. So this is all happening while she was in college. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love your story. Okay, so this is what I want you to do. Those of you who are watching, and I'm going to wrap this up. I think that you need to really brainstorm. Your highs and lows, like I said, I would just do a line from 0 to 18 and graph your highs and your lows. What are the defining moments, the highs of your life, the lows of your life? And odds are pretty good. That's a good start. The other thing I want you to really think about is your family. I have a lot of Indian Asian kids, and your identity is rooted in your culture. Absolutely rooted in your culture, whether that's your faith, whether that is your traditions, your family recipes, whatever that may be. This is what makes you you. And I used to talk about, I did this essay on vegetarian and meat eater. And when I did it 5 years ago, I had mostly vegetarian. And what really surprised me is the time I did it a year ago, I had a lot of meat eaters. That really surprised me. Because when you assimilate, your parents came to America, you really assimilate and become Indian American. So how do you balance that? How do you, that's really kind of part of your identity too. Like, and you go back to, I know a lot of you travel back to India and probably don't want to live there, want to come back here. That could be part of it. Those of you who are athletic, who have a history with, I don't know, select soccer, an injury. I had somebody who came in and she goes, I tore my ACL, and I went, no, you're too young. You're too young to tear your ACL. That's career ending for many people. And it will shake you up. So those are stories. Music. If you come from a musical family, I mean, that sets you apart. If you can play the piano, if you can play an instrument, and how music feeds your soul. It depends on your interests. So we hit music, we hit athletic, maybe it's art, and I don't want to say passion because they don't even like the word passion. It's more like your vocation, your calling, what you are meant to do. We're all given certain talents and gifts, and how we use those gifts kind of helps us find our purpose in life. You don't just want a job. You want to be able to work and feel that you've made a difference, that you fulfill a purpose in this world. And you're lucky if you have that, because it's rare. What is your purpose right now? What fuels you, right? I want you to think about that as well. So I really want you to start with, and I'm going to go back to share the screen, with 2 prompts that I want you to really be thinking about today. So you'll notice the Common App essay number 1. Some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that's so meaningful, it would be incomplete without it. And that's very much like, let me go to 4. your applied Texas. Most students have an identity and interest. Okay, so you can't get away from it, everybody. You have to do topic B, which is the same as Common App 1. Just get it out. Think about that one. So I want you to kind of start with that one. Be thinking about that. And just so many of my Indian students apply to UT Austin or Texas A&M. So this is just for an idea for 2025. UT Austin required essays in the Common App or topic A in Applied Texas, and how you submit your essays. And there are short answers, there are supplemental essays. Once you gain admission, and those help you get into the school that you want. So we want to focus on topic B for Applied Texas, or Common App number 1. That's what we're going to do this time around. Think about your background, your identity, your interest, your talent. And I do want you to do that timeline, just to give you an idea, just kind of just a self-actualization exercise. So this is pretty much how we started. It was just making everyone feel comfortable, getting some background information. I have not really thought about logistics. Summer is my busiest time of year, and I have a job to do, and this is, my personal time, and I'm being willing to do this because this is the first time I've ever done it, and just kind of for the first 3 months, it's free. So take it as free. But it doesn't mean I can do it as often as I'd like to do it. So it's just to get you started and get you thinking about it. Okay. So if you're interested in continuing and you want to come back in June, we'll probably do a lesson in June. We may amp it up in July, probably amp it up in August as well. But we're going to kind of slow into it because I do have a lot of people traveling in June as well. So no reason to get all hot and bothered about it when people aren't going to show up. Okay, so this concludes college essay. This is the day 1. So if you missed it, this is kind of what we went over. What you can do is be really thinking about brainstorming topics. I don't know that I necessarily want you to write something out. I just want you to be thinking about what you could write and maybe come in with some topic ideas. If you feel like you have the topic, shoot me a quick email, run it by me. Mrs. Hensel, what do you think about this? I'm okay with that. I love that, actually. I would rather you have some feedback, or have, someone that says, that's been done to death. You may want to try something, that sets you apart versus what everybody else writes about. So think about that too. All right. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.